All right, guys, so I stumbled across this clip from a debate between black conservatives and black liberals. And there was a part of the debate in which Shemeka Mitchell absolutely brings down the house by speaking some biblical truth about the issues in the black community and the core cause of a lot of the problems that we're having, and that is the dismantling of the nuclear family. Take a look.
So yes, I think that the black community does actually need strong nuclear families, but not because we're black, but because that's the natural order.
Amen.
And so I think it would be safe to say that Reese may not be a Christian, because when God looked at man, he said it's not good for man to be alone. He gave him a woman. He didn't give him a village. He didn't give him the community. He said, be fruitful and multiply to this man and this woman. So it's supposed to be God, husband, wife, child. And that's the natural order. And that's why I think we can see some of the foolishness that we see in the black community, because we are out of order. And we can make up all of this stuff that sounds good. I'm from a single parent home, and I'm not somewhere cracked out in the street selling my body. However, that is not ideal. It would have been better for me to be in God's order, to have a mother and a father to raise me. And that's just what it is. You know, the effect that it's had, we've had women for generations now saying that they don't need a man, and we have boys that don't want to be one.
Bars.
Did anybody detect any lies there? Right? Did anybody detect any lies? Okay, because if you did, the facts and the evidence do not agree with you, as the poverty rate for single black mothers in the United States is about 30%, compared to about 7% for black married couples. That's your stimulus package right there, right? For the black community, right? If you want to know how to increase wealth in the black community, just get married, right? If you get married, you're less likely to live in poverty, okay? And if you choose not to get married, right, don't have kids out of wedlock. Again, this is simple stuff. And we all know the effect that single motherhood has on crime. It is basically the cause of a lot of the crime that we're seeing in these, black communities, black neighborhoods across the country, as according to the Heritage Foundation, a 10% increase in the percentage of children living in single parent homes leads typically to a 17% increase in juvenile crime. Well, why is that? Well, the reason why is because there's a lack of fathers, a lack of real men showing young men how to actually be men. Okay, something that a single mother can't do. And don't get me wrong, there's some single mothers that do an amazing job raising their kids, but it takes a man to raise a man. Okay, it's a lot easier for a man to raise a man than a woman to raise a man, okay? That's just my belief. And when I say two-parent household, I mean mom and dad, okay? Mom and dad, right? Not mom and mom, not dad and dad, mom and dad, okay? Because gender roles matter. Having that masculine presence there, that feminine presence there, seeing how mom and dad interact, the natural order of things, the way that God intended it to be, it works, right? It works, okay? And for whatever reason, to get the liberal left, the Democrat Party, the progressives, they want to change that because they like chaos. The more chaos that there is, the more the Democrats can come in and say, well, the chaos is here because of racism. It's because of racism. It's because of the Republican Party. And we have all the solutions for you. And the problem with that is that the Democrat solutions actually have made things worse. In fact, a lot of this started with Democrat solutions. Before the 1960s, almost all children were born to married couples. However, that changed when the so-called war on poverty started by Lyndon B. Johnson. At the time, only 7% of children were born out of wedlock. Now that figure is closer to 60%. Again, how does this happen? Well, it happens when, again, government benefits pushed by the Democrats exceed the amount needed for self-sufficiency, to the point now where women feel like, again, they can replace a father with the government, right? There is no fear of having kids out of wedlock thinking that, okay, well, I'm not going to be able to eat because I had this child, because no, the government's going to take care of me. So I don't need a man, which is exactly what Shemeka Mitchell was alluding to. I don't need a man, right? Because I got the government on my side. And also because of radical feminism, there's also a push to make women think that they can replace men altogether, not just financially from the government, but also in terms of just being a man, right? A woman can do anything that a man can do, when that's just simply not true. It's not true. And the opposite effect is happening when it comes to what they're pushing on men. They're telling men that you don't need to be strong. You don't need to be masculine, right? You need to be less of a man. Being less of a man actually is what makes you a real man, right? That is what they're telling men. So they're trying to make men more feminine and women more masculine. And what do you think happens? Chaos, because it's not good for marriage, which again is what we're talking about here. The foundation of nuclear family is not good for the nuclear family, in the sense that women whom dominate their husbands in nonverbal behaviors and economic contributions and decision-making, those marriages are less satisfying. Women who are not economically dependent on their husband, those marriages have a higher divorce rate. What happens is that just creates chaos. And this is why I call the super liberal left-wing extremists that are pushing this stuff on our culture and our society, the Democrat Party, they are agents of chaos because they do nothing but create chaos. Chaos is good for the Democrat Party, right? They thrive off of chaos. There's a reason why a lot of these movements, right? For example, like BLM, they're being led by women, right? Because again, these women are experts at creating chaos, right? This is why I talk about, no. You need a community of mothers and other people to raise your child. They don't mention fathers, right? You remember on their website, they said they want to dismantle the nuclear family because a village of women, right? A village of women is all it takes to raise a young black male child, right? This is the type of stuff they was pushing, and all that is done is create chaos. That's what we're already doing. We already have villages and communities of single black women raising black males. That has done nothing but create chaos, right? I got my whole point here is this, okay? When it comes to political ideology, whether you're looking at the left, you're looking at the right, what attracts me to the conservative ideology more than anything is the idea of the nuclear family and gender roles. The fact that a man should be the head of the household who looks up to God, right? If you are religious. If not, then hey, that's okay too, right? And the woman should look up to the man, and then the children, you get the order of things, right? That works, right? That is what works for raising a stable family. And the problem with the black community, the biggest problem with the black community is not the lack of government resources and help from the Democrat Party, is actually the instability of the family, which you could argue is a result of some of these Democrat policies that have made the black community dependent, particularly black women. So a lot of people, when they ask who to vote for, they say, well, what is this party going to do for me? What are they going to give me? And I want to challenge people to not think about what are you going to get, right? What are they going to give you? But how are they going to help you do for yourself, right? Who is going to create a business environment, an environment where people won't just be dependent on the government, and they will actually have to work together as a nuclear family, as a unit, to build wealth and to raise children, right? Which, again, is the formula, right? That is the formula for success in this country, right? Who's promoting that? Who's promoting being tough on crime, which is a fundamental part of raising a family, having a neighborhood that is safe, right? A neighborhood that is safe for businesses to flourish and for people to raise children without having to worry about them getting involved with drugs, gangs, and other types of criminal activities. Too many people ask, okay, am I gonna get reparations? Am I gonna get a handout? Somebody gonna give me this? Somebody give me a stimulus check? That's not what actually really helps people. What helps people is people being able to do for themselves. It's going by the natural order of things that God has created. Or, if you're not religious, the way it's supposed to be from an evolutionary perspective, in the sense that marriage serves as a mechanism or a social reproductive arrangement that is designed to take care of highly dependent young. I'm just saying, this right here from Shemeka Mitchell, it seems like common sense. It is common sense, but it's the exact opposite of what the liberal left is pushing. And that's why I shared this clip, because I think it's an important reminder of the core values that are needed, not just for Black people, but just for this country moving forward in general, in the face of this woke movement to dismantle everything that we know and love about traditional American society, which you know the core of is the nuclear family. And that's why you're seeing these attacks on family in the form of, you know, radical feminism or the radical gender ideology, or the things they're pushing on men in regards to not being as masculine, being more feminine. That's why you're seeing all these attacks. Because a lot of these people, again, they want to tear down our traditional society so that people become dependent on a certain political party. And again, attacking the family, breaking down the family, again, is the main way to do that. That is how they do it. That's why you're seeing a lot of this stuff. So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.